Hello everyone, in this video I will discuss a critical essay, The Art of Fiction by Henry James. The reason for James' essay was a lecture by novelist historian Mr. Walter Besant, that is fiction as one of the finest arts, delivered in 1884. James came across the essay when it was published in 1884 as The Art of Fiction. He adopted the same title for his response published in Longman's Magazine in 1884. Henry James' Art of Fiction is a reply to Mr. Walter Besant's The Art of Fiction. In simple, we can understand here that is, initially Mr. Walter Besant gave a lecture. It was published as an essay that is entitled The Art of Fiction, and in reply to that essay, James wrote another essay with the same title, The Art of Fiction, and it was published in Longman's Magazine in 1884. Henry James was an American born essayist and author. He published articles, books, travel and related to travel, biography, autobiography, and criticism. Initially, Henry James gives his views on art, literature, freedom, novel, and he defines novel. Initially, Henry James believes that art lives upon developing arguments, experiments, and curiosity. It means art can be developed by arguments, experiments, and curiosity of an author. He further tells literature should be either instructive or amusing. That is, literature performs two functions, that is, it entertains or it instructs. But he believes that the objective of author is to make his writing interesting and catchy one. Further, he speaks of freedom. He tells that author as an artist must realize his power of freedom to feel and execute his feelings after its filtration. The act of fiction can't be disowned or can't be trained or taught. Here, Henry James tells that author must author must have his own freedom, and with this freedom he must express whatever he feels, and there must be some kind of filtration so that the work will seem interesting. Henry James further differentiates between good novels and bad novels, and he justifies the categories of good novels and bad novels. And according to him, readers has an option to accept and reject this category of good novels and bad novels. He further differentiates between interesting and uninteresting novels. The interesting novels are the unseen realities contained in the experience. It means interesting novels will have unseen realities which seem interesting to the readers, and these are absent in uninteresting novels. The interesting novels are products of a mind that is far from sophisticated artistry. Henry James further defines a novel. According to Henry James, novel in its broadest sense, a personal impression of life. As for Henry James, the novel means personal impression of life, and it must have intense a novel must have intensity of impression because it decides the value of novel. If the work has higher intensity of the impression, the value of the work will be more. If it has the lower intensity of impression, the value of the work will be less, and it must be done with a freedom so that the work will be uh, more interesting. After that, Henry James gives his argument against Walter Besant's argument. Walter Besant considered art of fiction as fine arts, but Henry James considers art of painting and art of fiction are two different genres of art. The former is more scientific. Here Henry James tells that art of painting is scientific one, but the art of fiction is subjective one. It varies according to the emotion and will of the author. He further talks of artistry, that is, art is not sufficient in itself. Artistry is neither a divine gift or nor an inspired one. It is the result of innumerable attempts with liberty by the author. It means art creating a work is not a result of a divine gift or an inspiration, but it is a result of effort of a writer. Henry James speaks of experiences. According to him, an author can't express all his experiences because experiences are like spider webs. One experience will be connected to other. So, artistry of an author lies in identifying the impression of a life and incidents in experienced or seen subject. It means the author must highlight his best experience so that the work will be interesting one. Walter Besant talks about the selection as an art of the writer concerning the expression of the story. As for Walter Besant, the selection is concerned with the expression of story, but for Henry James, it is freedom of author to select whatever he wants to make the novel interesting. That is the difference here is that Walter Besant is concerned with the expression of a story, but uh, James is concerned to make a novel interesting. Walter Besant gave laws of fiction as harmony, perspective, and proportion. Harmony, perspective, and proportion were considered as necessary to create a fiction by Mr. Walter Besant. But Henry James opposed this view and told that no, not only these elements, but still there are many elements necessary to create a fiction, that is the inclusiveness of many elements can create a fiction, but only harmony, perspective, and proportion can't create a good fiction. Henry James speaks of novel of incident and novel of character. Novel of incident means the incident will be the center. Based on the incidents, character will be created. Novel of a character means character will be considered as a primary, and based on that, incidents will be created. But Henry James includes both these things in the novel, and he tells the purpose of the novel must be to make it interesting one. He gives an example of an interesting novel, Treasure Island, written by R.L. Stevenson. Henry James speaks of a story. Story is an idea that needs a form called novel. Thus, story is not the soul of the novel, but the presentation of story is the soul of artistry of a novelist. Here, Henry James focuses on presentation of the novel. He believes that presentation is more important than the content. Further, Henry James defines plot in connection with a character. What is character but the determination of incident? He tells that character will be determined by the incident, and in return, incident will explain the character, and character and incident are connected to each other. Henry James further speaks of the purpose of writing. He tells that there is no conscious moral purpose of an author to moralize or to preach the readers. He denies all views against the art and says that only purpose of author is to make his story interesting. In simple, Henry James tells that author must not write a work with a moral purpose, rather he must write a work to make it interesting. At last, it can be concluded that author is different from masses. Masses focus on ordinary issues like morality, immorality, pessimism, optimism, good, evil, and vice versa. But author must not focus on these things. He must have his own freedom and he must create a unique thoughts. At last, Henry James declares that he is famous. Henry James declares that artist means the art of fiction. That's it in this video. Thank you.